أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله عدد المجرات إلى حيث جرت، والحمد لله عدد الذرات وما احتوت، والحمد لله سعة الزمان والمكان قبل التبديل وبعد التبديل. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. قال تعالى: لخلق السماوات والأرض أكبر من خلق الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. Subhanallah al-Azim. Today I'm not here to teach you. I'm just walking you through the garden of knowledge and the sacred knowledge, not to be taken by fitna of science and our brain power capacities, because your brain can mislead you. Your heart is only approached by one single way, then it's much safer to understand by your heart than your brain. أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فيكون لهم قلوب يعقلون بها. Even in quantum physics, Irving Heisenberg said, I can safely say I cannot understand the quantum physics. He doesn't say I cannot solve problems, because he created the science. But the fahm is from heart. You can logically process, multitask in your brain power. That's why Islam comes to your heart, but doesn't conflict with your brain power. The universe consists of two great books, Al-Kitab al-Mastur wal-Kitab al-Mandur. We will read a couple of lines in Al-Kitab al-Mastur, وهو القرآن, and we will read with open eye from the universe. One book leads to other. If you are a scientist, then you can use your background in physics, mathematics, chemistry, whatever. And then if you are having the fahm, the comprehension, the understanding, not the knowledge, because قالت العرب إنما العلم الفهم قد تعلم ولكن لا يحصل فهم وفهمناها سليمان. So understanding changing the pace of life for any individual, not the knowledge. Because the knowledge, maybe any sample of Muslim now know about Islam more than 80% of Sahabat Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So where is the difference? What is the deal? Is al-fahm and al-ikhlas. So reading from the two books, if you are given the barakah of ilm and ilm al-lugha and the tafsir, then you can see it clearly with no shade of a doubt, Al-Kitab al-Mandur, the observed universe. Or if you are given the blessings of knowing mathematics and physics and you understand, this will lead you to the other book. So the exchange, the interplay between two books is very important. And the idea of this presentation is, Subhanallah al-Azim, when we show you the Big Bang or the universe, the creation of galaxies, stars, then you see how great in terms of volume, energy, distances, and numbers, and this was vast, great things that you can imagination cannot go beyond that boundary of creation to glorify the created that will lead you to the Creator. Because people think about al-ni'am and they forget al-mun'am. People see the thing that in their hands, but they don't see the founder. That's why in physics, there is intersection between physics and the Qur'an. If we have some physics or chemistry or any scientific that match the Qur'an, then they say the discipline, the science is right. حاشا لله أن تقول القرآن. Right, صح? That's why the reference of sacred knowledge, absolute knowledge, is Al-Quran Al-Kareem. If our science meet with the facts in the Quran, they say science is right. It's not the other way around, حاشا لله. So the first is الكتاب المسطور القرآن الكريم وهو كلام الله. لن نقف كثيرا. والكتاب المنظور is the observed universe. The observed universe is not more than 5 to 7% of the real universe. So observed means we have direct access by our telescopes, by spacecraft, or بالأثر. البعرة تدل على البعير والأثر يدل على المسير أفلا يدل هذا الكون على الخالق العظيم. So most or the majority of our exploration in space is بالأثر. It's the shadow of knowledge that we can deduce and derive from what we have from data. So as long as we have 2 books, and either book will lead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because how you believe in the Quran if you don't believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How you believe in Muhammad without you believe in Jibreel al-Malaika subhanahu wa ta'ala? How you believe in Malaika without believing in Allah? Subhanallah, when you say amantu billahi wal yawm al-akhir, it includes like a mathematical function, al-iman billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawm al-akhir wal qada wa qadaru. And this is a taboo. This is not a sociology or anthropology definition. You know the hadith when there is a man dressed in white came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what is the iman? And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered, he said, sadaqt. The Sahaba were like puzzles. Who is saying sadaqt? And you are correct to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, this is your brother Jibreel, جاء ليعلمكم أركان الإيمان. So, in order to make a story short, we have only 30 minutes, and I'm telling you, I will speak an idea about the Big Bang, because there are 6 theories about the creation of the universe. The most famous is the Big Bang, and we will tell you in Islam and the Quran we will meet or we do not meet between the sacred knowledge of the Quran and the Big Bang. But this is what we teach our students, right? There is also a big split. And there is the parallel universe. Any one of you, even in the elementary school, can go to AI or ChatGPT and can create the best presentation. This is not what we are, reinventing the wheel. We are sharing you ideas to lead you to go all together to see how deliberate, how precise the creation of the universe is, in order to come up directly with the conclusion سبحان الله الخالق عندما تعظم المخلوق سبحان الله الواجد عندما تعرف ماذا موجود سبحان الله المنعم حتى تعرف النعم التي أعطاها الله للإنسان. So this is a courtesy from CERN, Centre Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire on NASA. And you can find it everywhere in any book of cosmology. The Big Bang is explosion inward and then reverse outward. So the first explosion, it is not spreading out in 3 dimensions. It was explosion inside and then reflects. And then I have here, when you talk about 10 to minus 32 seconds, which is the Planck's time, and the distance where the explosion took place is 10 to minus 35 meters. But if you notice here in our physics, we don't talk about zero time and zero space. So they say the Big Bang is the origin of space and time. And if Sulayman rahmatullah alayha is alive, and she said, if this is the explosion that created the space and time, where the explosion happens? if the space and time is created, and then when this point was located in the coordinates of the vast universe to create a space and time. This is one question raised by the community. So people, when you talk about the Big Bang, they talk about the 3 minutes, the first 3 minutes of the universe. And as you see, we have 4 or 5 stages from the Big Bang to reach the first 3 minutes, where we only have 4 elements: hydrogen, helium, deuterium, and another isotope of the hydrogen. So this means that there was no oxygen, right? Right? Oxygen comes after 380,000 or 600,000 years. So this theory, now we began to develop skepticism. Why? Because in our theory of creation of the Qur'an, وَكَانَ عَرْشُهُ عَلَى الْمَاءِ وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. And if you go to ayah, I think number 30 in Surah Al-Ahzab, Al-Mu'mineen, أَفَلَمْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. You see in the Quran, go for al-munada, al-kafir, al-fasiq, al-mu'min, al-munafiq, al-muslim. And this call is for al-kafirin. أَفَلَمْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. And al-ratq in Arabic, if you have 2 planes, not 1 point, 2 planes are attached or sewed or tailored, and you take them off like this, with a voice comes out like pop. Yeah, this is the ratq in the Quran. So Al-Quran is addressing, this is a miracle. This is only the ayah activated in the last 50 years. أَفَلَمْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Because all the people that developed the cosmological constant and this cosmological background waves, all the astrophysics is Chandrasekhar, Einstein, Max Planck, Max Born, everybody was not Muslim, subhanallah. For this is a secret in your Quran. This is only, this ayah is appeared to be activated in the last 40, 50 years only. أَفَلَمْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا. So it means tailored, 2 pieces together, like 2 pieces of clothes, and you tune them up like this. This is our Big Bang in Islam. So it's not the 10 to minus 35 meters, and it exploded inside and detonated. That's why most of the physicists are atheists. And I met many of them because I worked in Garching in Germany, in Poland, and I finished my PhD in France, and I always, when talk to them, they say, why do I need a God? I am a physicist. I can solve my problems. I can solve my life. Why do I need a God? That's why here the intersection between science and the Quran is split. There is a divergence, right? The Quran says the water is there, and the Big Bang says the water comes after 600,000 years of the Big Bang. And the Quran says splitting, so 2 planes were attached. And if you go to Lisan al-Arab, it is al-ratq, it's 2 planes that sewed together, and you tune them off and you hear a voice. So it's like an explosion, but it's not 1 point. It's two different planes attached and then split it up. So in the first 3 minutes, you have 4 elements. And then it takes you 380,000 years to develop 3 isotopes or 4 isotopes in the chemistry definition. When you reach there, you are reducing the temperature from billions to millions, and then you have like a glow, like a light comes. This is, they say this is the evidence that they are following that light and waves to go back to make a retrospective way of going back to go to the first second of the creation. Please also tell yourself and your children that physics, by definition, doesn't deals with undefined entities. Physics needs electrons, protons, and energies. So you cannot, for example, explain using physics whatever background you have for the Rihlat al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, for example. Because Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a jismun kathif, lahu kutla, and you cannot speed anything has even an electron for a speed that exceeds the speed of light in a special theory of relativity and physics. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was going in a track that is not captured by physics. And if you see people that wanted to twist the text in the Qur'an and the text in science, this is, I don't respect, at least. This is the least I can see. So I was talking to a sheikh, a Sufi in Gaza, and I was talking about this. He told him, he said, when the kaf and noon function, there is no physics and there is no law. Kun fayakun is not subject to our three-dimensional brain power to impose our understanding and background to explain iradat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to think kun fayakun. كن فيكون من عباد الله في سورة النمل وقال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب transformation of coordinates from Yemen to Palestine or from two different entities or places in Yemen is a blink of eye, you know, moving a palace or a kingdom from a place to a place. This is for ibad, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And always I am focusing, teaching myself, when you see ayah like this, you say subhanallah. That's why I see, when I used to see in Gaza, to show in Gaza, the red spot in Jupiter, using our telescope. And you listen to people, even children and housewives, say, subhanallah, this is tasbih, right? When people see this, the miracles, they say subhanallah. And who is making tasbih, you or Jupiter? You are making tasbih because you touched a miracle. You touched something that we cannot do. You touched something that you don't have a hand on that. You touch something about, for example, Jupiter. You can fill inside Jupiter 1,000 planet Earth. Like you can imagine. I give you some perspectives about the volumes, and then you measure your weight and toll and power with these things. That's why لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرْ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ. If you have an ophthalmic doctor here, spent 35, 40 years studying the eye, he said, we are not gods. We cannot, comprehend everything. This is only one member of your body, right? But the Quran says, لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرْ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ. We will see something. So this chart, you will see it in the cosmology books and everywhere if you wanted to teach yourself and your family. And this is another explanation for the same.
Is the creation story as told by science?
Sorry, how to mute that?
There was an ocean of energy that drove a rapid expansion of space, known as inflation. There were ripples in the ocean. As it
Okay, no, I will manage that. Yeah, let's go.
inflation ended,
Okay. هي شو هي
بس بدك اياه تعمل this
Okay.
شو
Okay, show is coming.
عشان يطلع الشو
as inflation ended, the ocean of
So-
energy was converted into matter
So this is what we just explained about the best theory in cosmology to explain. The best theory in cosmology is the Big Bang, and it's an accumulation of tens of thousands of scientific papers and tens of thousands of best minds in the last 80 years. This is what they come. You can see, you go to Google the universe or creation of universe, and you see movies 5 minutes and give you an idea about this. We don't take everything, but we take a sense of distances and volumes. And then when you come up with the distances and volumes, then you see clearly a physical meaning of al-wasi' al-alim. أسماء الله الحسنى الواسع العليم. And you can imagine you can imagine it's not a beard. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. But, okay, so just 1 second. Yeah.
So here is the creation story,
You can put the
as
mic on the
told
speaker here and
by
everybody can hear.
science. In the beginning, there was an ocean of energy that drove a rapid expansion of space, known as inflation. There were ripples in the ocean. As inflation ended, the ocean of energy was converted into matter. Then the Big Bang. And the pattern of the ripples was imprinted into our universe as regions of slightly different density in the hydrogen and helium gas that formed shortly after the Big Bang. The denser regions of gas collapsed.
Here I must share that when the scientists talk about the formation of galaxies, they are talking about gas spread in the universe called the nebula. And then what the scientists say in physics, there was a catastrophic shock that makes this gas or dukhan in Lugat al-Qur'an compressed and then start rotating and form a galaxy. This is the science. But there is no catastrophic shock in the Quran. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدَرٍ. So that's the difference between our sacred knowledge in the Quran, or the difference between what we read in our Al-Kitab al-Mastur al-Quran, what the scientists teach us about the Al-Kitab al-Mandur.
To form the first stars. So here is the creation story.
Scientists Scientists say the age of the universe from 13.6, 13.8, and some say 15 billion years old. And the solar system is 6 billion years old, and our planet, it took our planet 50 million years to be prepared to host life, human lives. And this is based on mathematical and derivation. Mathematics is right, but physics is still not fully understood. So also sometimes you are ahead of a big challenge. You need more research. And for us, our Islamic scholars can give estimations when Adam was first on the planet. These numbers then become very questionable. But this is what we told the students: 50 million years to make the atmosphere, to make the mountains, to make, and even in this sketch, it took like 8 billion years when you have fissions of small atoms to become bigger atoms. For example, we don't have hadid, iron, or nahas before 8 billion years. And this was embedded and thrown to the planet. And that's why some scientists say we humans originally come from stars, because we have in our body irons and other minerals, right? So the source of these minerals comes from stars, that our planet in the solar system 6 billion years ago, that was embedded and thrown and bombarded by these elements from stars.
And the first galaxies. And 9 billion years later, a new star formed in the Milky Way.
So for our galaxy, the Milky Way, if I am at the edge of the Milky Way and Imam Hamid is the other edge, and I say Assalamu alaikum, and I assume that my sound wave is moving not at 340 meters per second, but the speed of light. It will take 100,000 years until Imam Hamid hear me say Assalamu alaikum, and say Alaikum assalam, brother Sulayman. It takes another 100,000 years to reply Assalam. So 200,000 years of speed of light propagation to say Assalamu alaikum. This is only one galaxy from 100 billion galaxies. And each galaxy has 1 to 100 billion stars. And each single star has its own numerous number of planets. And each planet has its moon. Can you imagine? Can you set your imagination free to grasp the vast distances, the astronomical numbers of this universe? And my question, as I said last Monday, without humans, doesn't mean anything, right? Without intelligence, life, humans. So the universe is built for you, right? وَتَحْسَبُ أَنَّكَ جُرْمٌ صَغِيرٌ وَفِيكَ انطوى الْعَالَمُ الْأَكْبَرُ. You think you are a small celestial body. You think you are a small comet. And in you, the whole universe is latent. Then you can imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala built this universe for you to contemplate, to think, to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine if you are as important as this universe is. Imagine the killing of a human without. من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا من غير نفس أو فسادا في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. Yeah, جميعا. So So سيدنا علي إمام خليفة المسلمين الرابع وتحسب أنك جرم صغير. Life is very important. It's incomparable. Even if Al-Kaaba destroyed stone by stone, it is أهون على الله أن يقتل Muslim. See the mass killing everywhere. This is what you see in the Nas في الكتاب المسطور. And when you look at this universe, it's created for you. The number of galaxies, stars, and all these things is for you to think and also to fear. خوف والرجاء. الخوف والرجاء, you fear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created this and control every single atom in this universe. Who are you? Who are you to defy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ta'sa? عشان هيك يعني you have to pay attention that Allah is there, Allah is watching. When Allah allow the shaitan to survive, Allah knows what the shaitan is going to do, right? So everything is a test. Al-faqr, al-ghina, al-quwwa, al-da'af, everything you are tested. وَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. So because we don't have time, so I give you gaining perspective on the universe. This is you can find in any book of astronomy. Look at this. Look at your planet Earth. And this is Venus. They call it the twin of Earth. Venus كوكب ملعون غضيب. حتى سيدنا عمر في أقاويل في ابن كثير أنه كان يلعنه لأنه يخالف الفطرة الكونية. It is inverted, upside down, وبلف عكس الدنيا كلها في كل المجموعة الشمسية. The inclination of Venus is almost 177, 180 degrees. So الشمس تخرج عليه من الغرب. في كتب قديمة ممكن إسرائيليات بتقول this is the هاروت وماروت magic with a woman from Babel, but we don't care about this. This is the Venus is the most beautiful celestial body in the sky, and it is mal'oon, it is غضيب. In Venus, it rains some rain that burns rocks. Imagine if you are living on Venus, what skin should you have to survive? And also it is deviating from the fitra or from the laws of physics that all the planets are orbiting the sun. Earth has a declination of 23 degrees, you like this, and goes around the sun to make the seasons, yeah? But Venus is inverted. Mars is also still an inner solar system planet. Pluto in 2006 was taken out as a planet and called a dwarf planet because it's not qualified as a planet. It has a moon called Charon or Charon, yeah? And they found that it orbits the moon like a binary system because our Earth is here and our moon go like this. But in Pluto, they find Pluto and its moon going like this, so it's not qualified to be planet and then dwarf. Look at the distance. And can you locate yourself in Canada? You, in your size, physical size. This is for the inner planets in the solar system. Some small fact about Mercury. Mercury, 1 day in Mercury is longer than 1 year in Mercury because it orbits the sun in one phase. So it completes one orbit in 88 Earth days, right? But only showing you one phase. So 1 year is finished and 1 day is not finished. So one day is finished and 1 year is not finished. So the day on Mercury is longer than the year on Mercury. And the year in Mercury is 88 days, while in Pluto it's 340 years. If you are going to Saturn, 1 year is 30 years. So if you live 10 years on Earth, you need 300 years to live in Saturn, for example. What this gives you as a Muslim to conclude? the relativity in the concept of time. Go to the Qur'an and try to track the concept of time in the Quran. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ, it is related to your timing on the planet Earth. Otherwise, it's unknown. For example, خلق السماوات والأرض 6 days. It is not 6 by 24 hours. 6 days corresponds to 13.8 billion years in cosmology. In other, وَيَوْمٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ, right? It means that Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam didn't complete 1 day and a half. And we are mustajleen, we are in a hurry up, and we see that there is khulud and stuff. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Ayyam Allah related to our timing here doesn't complete 1 day and a half. It's less than 100, 500, right? يوم عند ربك كألف سنة مما تعدون. أيام الله related to our watch here, every 1 day عند Allah is 1,000. And then ويصعد إليه الكلم الطيب في 50,000 سنة مما تعدون. So outside the solar system, you don't have any sense of time. You don't have any sense. You cannot measure time. Even if you go in a spaceship 400 kilometers only above the surface of the planet, you don't know where is up and down, where is right and wrong. You need somebody from Earth to tell you where you are. Only 400 kilometers. And the moon is 400,000 kilometers. So if you go to other planets, see Jupiter to the Earth. Look, Earth is here, and this is Jupiter, this is Saturn. Yeah, this is Uranus and Neptune, and this is Pluto. This is only in one solar system, in one sun. You have 100 billion suns in the Milky Way only. Can you imagine? And then this is in one galaxy. You have 200 billion, not million, billion galaxies. So in one galaxy, the Milky Way, la Voie lactée, you have 100 billion stars. And every star has this. Those planets I'm showing you is only related or connected to our sun. And see the differences in these values. Look at this. This is the sun and this is the earth. As I said last time, you can fill in 1,300,000 earth inside the sun. And see Jupiter, the great. And look at this. This is your sun and there are another suns. See the difference. And this small split of the sun here is 1,300,000 Earth. Can you imagine your size to this Arcturus sun? This is a sun, this is a star, Najm. And look at this. Now, we start a Big Bang, the solar system. I need to give you some information about the moon, because in our Islamic faith, the 5 pillars of Islam is connected to astronomy. We fast following the moon, and we make zakah following the moon and the sun. We make salah following the sun. So teaching yourself and your kids about astronomy is not cosmetics. It's not something luxury. It's part of your faith, because you need to know when the new moon and the observed moon to follow the صوموا لرؤيته وافطروا رؤيته in Qur'an and Sunnah, and also zakah and hajj. Everything is connected to astronomy. That's why you need to study astronomy, or this fact is part of your iman, it's part of your aqidah. It is not like I don't like anthropology, I don't want to waste my time studying anthropology. No, you need to know where the moon is and where the sun is, and this is very important. So the moon formation, they have many theories, the Big Bang, and they say the fission hypothesis that after the Big Bang with billions of years, there is a theory of fission, a giant impact, that there is like Venus hit the Earth and then split back, and then we have the moon. And this is only speculation. So I am going to our Al-Kitab al-Mastur, the phases of the moon, and this is, you can find it if you have time, but let's اللهم اني اسالك فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين والملائكه المقربين ان تجعل لساني عامرا بذكرك وقلبي خاشعا بخشيتك وسري بطاعتك انت حسبي ونعم الوكيل. Now let's go to the moon in the Quran. The moon. So we can take time for questions. Okay. Yes. The moon orbits the planet 26 days. How come the month is 30 or 29? Where the 3 days comes from? Every 1 day in the moon is 26 days in the earth. The 3 days that complete one month, lunar month, when the moon and the earth all together as a system orbit the sun. This is make the difference. Otherwise, the moon only goes around the sun in a single system in 26 days. And the Quran, there is a 26 ayah about the moon. So we can complete after that, no problem. These are the ayahs, some of them for meditation, some for calculation, some for meditation, some for solving a problem with the zakat, some miracles. All these ayahs, we can talk about them, because I have to stop here. Say, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Jazakumullah khairan for your attention. Inshallah, we will continue after Salat al-Asha for any question.
MashaAllah, takbir. Jazakumullahu khairan. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. For the next 20 minutes, we'll open the floor for questions. Before we do so, I know some of you have headache. I can see when you have a jar or a cup full of water, if you move it keeps spilling. That's the example. And I know the feeling of you're trying to cover a lot of ground, but you covered the black hole. I would like to add a few things from a Quranic perspective, just to not fall in mistakes, and you alluded to it earlier. Who said Adam and Hawa were only 6,000 or 7,000? Wrong, wrong, wrong. Let other religions say it. We're not going to say that. We're not going to do the mistake. The reason why Islam prospered, because a mufassir or a scholar of Islam cannot talk about these issues. We need a person like him from Al-Mandur. By the way, you said that, but just for them, they keep hearing this. Al-Mastur means the written book, meaning the Quran. Al-Mandur, the observed book. That's what he meant. So you need Al-Mastur, what is written. We read the Quran. But we need the people who have spent years, as you see with NASA. You don't get people like that. That's number one. Scholars, even if they study Islam, mashallah, but they have to stop, because Allah says, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلَّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. Do not say things you have no knowledge of. Because sometimes you think, oh, alim within your specialty. This takes a lot of knowledge of math, physics, science, chemistry. That's why Allah Azza wa Jal, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of expertise if you don't know. I don't know everything, but I can learn. That's number one. Number two, we shouldn't make many mistakes. And let me tell you something. A lot of tafsirs have mistakes. Oh my God, what did I say? Yes, tafsir is human effort to explain the Quran. You know, وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ تَحْسَبُهَا جَامِدَةً وَهِيَ تَمُرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ صُنْعَ اللَّهِ الَّذِي أَتْقَنَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. You look at the mountains and you think they are immobile, but they are in motion. This is the work of Allah. Do we feel the mountains and the earth turning? Allah is talking about rotation. All the planets, as you said, are doing rotation, except Venus and some other planets and other galaxies, they were reverse rotation. Reverse rotation. It was a Venus, yeah?
Yes.
and reverse rotation. And the earth will have reverse rotation soon. Allah knows. لا إن الله يقبل توبة العبد ما لم تشرق الشمس من مغربها. Allah will accept your tawbah until the day the sun rises from the west, meaning reverse rotation. People didn't know that, but now we know that there is reverse rotation. In this galaxy, you said it's Venus, yeah. And how about this planet X? Will I ask you a question? The planet X that was not identified. There are some planets which were not seen within dimensions. But I would like to stop here and open the questions. But one ayah in Surah Zamar, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا قَبْضَتُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتُ مَطْوِيَّاتٌ بِيَمِينِهِ سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون. People do not know qadr, value of Allah. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. And the whole existence in galaxies will be folded next to him. And the earth where you live with all what's happening in the earth will be just something handful. Subhanah. So anybody has a question to the professor, please go ahead. And inshallah he'll come another time. Yes, son. And those online we're watching you, you can write your question. Yes. Louder, beta, louder, please. He says he watched a documentary and says every year the sun loses some of its energy. And when energy is lost at a higher level, it will implode.
Okay, this is really a good question, part of the astrophysics discipline. I give you 3 examples about to make it easier for you. First, the sun is complete symmetric spherical under 2 forces. The thermonuclear from inside pushing outside, and the rotation from and the gravitational from rotation. So we have 2 forces equal to make it a sphere. One day, the fusion or the fuel inside it will be less, and then the rotation will squeeze it until it becomes a black hole. Or the thermonuclear fusion is increased in favor of thermonuclear over gravity, so the sun will expand. In 4 days, it will swallow the planet Earth. For 3 to 4 days, we will be inside the sun. And when the moon is going around the planet, every year it goes like 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter away. There will come a time that when the moon comes between Earth and the sun, which is a new moon, the gravity of the sun will be strong enough to swallow the moon. To swallow the moon like this. What will happen? When the moon is lost in this, the rotation of the planet is getting faster and faster, so you have 93 hours and day 3 hours. What happened then? The oceans will jump into the earth miles in half an hour, and the earth will go inside the ocean in half an hour, like kilometers inside the ocean. Your metabolism, you are programmed to live 24 hours day and night. But when you have 3 hours night and 3 hours day, there is no way life, and it's rotating very fast. What happened then? This is a manifestation of Yawm al-Qiyamah, but this is in physics is there, because when you calculate this deceleration on an eccentric connection between Earth and the solar system, so وجمع الشمس والقمر, there is ayah. وجمع الشمس والقمر in physics, وجمع الشمس والقمر, the sun will capture the moon, and then only the gravity between the moon and Earth, and the Earth start speeding up. What you said, if we are running out of energy on a fuel, it will collapse and become a black hole. Imagine Earth in its size. the diameter of the planet is 6,387 kilometers. So you have like 13,000 diameter of the planet. If the Earth is a star, not a planet, and it goes through the process of creating a black hole, the whole planet will squeeze up to a diameter of 9 millimeter, keeping the same mass. So the same mass of the planet can be squeezed in less than 1 centimeter. You can imagine the power of black holes.
And you know, on same surah, Surah Zumar, وَأَشْرَقَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِنُورِ رَبِّهَا. On the day of judgment, there is no sun, no moon. The light of Allah. And Allah says, إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ, when the sun will be shrouded in darkness. So the sun will not last. In other galaxies, we observe that stars die. وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انْكَدَرَتْ means they lose their light. A brother has online here, question: scientifically, I heard that the earth will spin its axis in the future, and the sun will come from the west instead of the east. This proves the hadith and Qur'an, right?
The idea of the reversal of the planet, two things, one related to gravity and one related to magnetism. We have geographical north and magnetic north in the planet, and the angle between them is 23 degrees. Every 500,000 years, the magnetic north is coming down and meet the magnetic south, and they reverse. So the south will be up and down. This will not make too much about the technology, but how come we can imagine the hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? They say when the earth orbiting the sun, it will decelerate until stagnation, until stopped, and then start going back. This is one of the science explanation how the sun will rise from the west. So deceleration, I think there is, the Imam can teach us something about, there is a day with like 1 year, a day like 1 month. It is the deceleration, then stagnation, then reversing velocity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, but this is what science told us. It will stop and then reverse direction, then the sun will rise from the west.
Deceleration is mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ when he was said that the day will be like a week, will be like a month, will be like a long time. That shows that the earth will take, Jupiter is 72 hours, yeah? Which one? The rotation. Earth is 24 hours, Jupiter is 72 hours of rotation.
No, Jupiter is larger than this.
How many, what was the rotation? Anyways, so one day in the other planets is far longer than that.
The sense is Mercury, the year in Mercury, 88 Earth days. The year in Neptune is 340 years. In Jupiter, 30 years. So 1 year on Earth is 30 years. So that's the radius between the Sun and the Jupiter.
So, because we say, لا يحده زمان ولا مكان. Allah is not limited by time and space. By the way, this is the belief of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Allah, we don't say, what time is it, Allah? He's not going to say 8:37 p.m. It's 8:37 here, and in the maritime is 9:37, and in London it's a time. So Allah is above the time. La yahuddu, he's not limited by time and space.
Yes, in addition to what the Imam said, listen to this example. If we come to you or your wife make a very good high quality food, right? It's connected to the cleanness of your pots and the quality of the ingredients of food, and also an-nafs al-tayyiba. It reflects for the quality of the food and the cleanness, right? Either you or your wife is cooking, your wife or you is not part of the food, right? وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلِ الْأَعْلَى. Allah created time and space. There is no way for a healthy mind that Allah is included in time and space. So it's crazy, it's a foolishness to say about how Allah, because our mind is set up. The mindset is a 3-dimension in space and time. So when Allah created the space and time, there is no way that Allah is included inside the space and time. That's why لا يحده زمان ولا مكان ولا أي وقت ولا أي شيء كما قال اللجائي أي شيء عن الله يمدك إليه وهمك أو تحدثك به نفسك أو يشدك إليه خيالك عن الله فهو ليس الله لأنه ليس كمثله شيء.
Okay, we have around 6 minutes and we're going to answer 2 important questions. We'll take 1 question from the floor and I have 2 questions here. Go ahead, brother. Are the galaxies going to emerge?
There is a separate branch in cosmology about galaxy formation, and galaxies, like stars, they have a certificate of birth and death. Subhanallah, there is a cycle of life for galaxies. So galaxies merge. That's why they call the cluster of galaxies. They are grouping, they are splitting. It's a continuous dynamic process, even with the stars. And this is, you can find if you have a background in physics, this is the high energy physics and the cosmology and galaxy formation. So they merge, they have nucleus, they split, they explode. Sometimes they say they witness that there is a huge, like 200 million years ago. And then you know, listen, when you look at the sun, instantly you see it 8 minutes and 0.25 ago. So when you go deep in the space, you see the past. Some stars you see now is finished before Sayyidina Ibrahim 5,000 years ago, and you still see it. So that's what our Muslim scholars should focus about, why this is Allah created, why Allah allow us to know that, in order to fear Allah, in order to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to pay attention, constant attention to the meaning of the Qur'an. It gives you observable things, and the science is disclosing it. So when Michael or John or Cohen speak about these things, he understands it because he can understand and he has the power. But for us, this is Allah al-Qawi, Allah al-Mateen, خلق ووسع, expansion of the universe, the dark matter, dark energy. In fact, in the Islamic perspective, there is no dark time and no dark energy. There is a potential under the control of Allah Azza wa Jal. One of the problems of the physicists, they wanted to put things in equations and solve equations. لكن الله سبحانه وتعالى لا يحل الأمور بالمعادلات الرياضية.
I was in Space Center. My children were with me last year in Houston. Yes. We saw a presentation. I've been always, like many youth here, interested in astrophysics. And I asked the lady who presented, because she was talking about difference between Hubble telescope and James Webb telescope. And basically she was showing us what happened 1 million years ago. So basically they are almost close to show you what happened exactly for the creation of the earth. I want you to elaborate on that. So I asked her. She was a young lady, looked like from Desi background, Indian. And I said, I want to ask you a question. If you, after you studied so many years, she was like 23, 24, would you say there is a creator or not? She said, absolutely. And would like to tell you that most of the scholars now, it used to be in the 70s and 80s, atheists, but سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم. She said, like the DNA, it's impossible if you're in genetics to say there's no creator. Similarly, she said, definitely I believe in God the more I see this. Young woman, she was very eloquent, and I asked her, James Webb is showing you that now if you talk to somebody 20 years ago or 200 years ago, they say you are Majnoon. How could you see something that already happened? Yes, you can see the past through James Webb. I saw pictures. You can go online. But if you happen to be in a space center in Texas, you must go. Not just a year ago, everything has changed. So I would like you to elaborate on that. Secondly, very good question. We're going to take a couple minutes. I know some brothers have to pray and go, but just please be patient. You spoke about the moon last week, how it affects the mood, causes depression. But also the question is how scientifically it controls the sea tide. المد والجزر. Start with the first one.
Yes, let me give you an idea about what we are doing in science. In every institute or university that has a large group of scientists, and I saw this in Garching, Germany, where I studied at an Institute of Astrophysics. I saw it in Virginia, I saw it in Poland, and see it in Spain, in Institute of Astrophysics of Andalusia, Andalus. In every group, there is always an artist. So scientists sit with the artist, and they're talking about their exploration, their ideas, or their theories, and he writes notes. So the artist has a bachelor of everything in chemistry, biology, and physics. So he has a background. So he go to his lab, start to transform the equations and the information given by a scientist and make colors and say, wow, this, no, fix this, upgrade this. This could be with a darker color, this is with a lighter color, and then we come to conclusion of the science and then we publish it. That's why sometimes من العلماء المسلمين المساكين بيقول لك وردة كالدهان. There is something. This is a courtesy of artistic view of the equations. So when you see cosmology or astrophysics or astronomy pictures, it is colors are like temperature. When you have higher temperature, you have a denser color. So scientists doesn't see like artists. They see it information. All my work working with colors. So when I look, I see how the distribution of oxygen in the upper ionosphere is when I look at the colors. Because for us, when you have a color bar, there is a division of the color bar, there is a division of temperature of masses, temperature of velocities, different. This is for what is about Hubble telescope. It gives very good resolution because it gives very good data. And data is transformed to artistic view. Yeah, this is one. And the second about, yes, the moon, al-mad wal-jazr, the tides. Subhanallah, it mentioned in the Qur'an al-urjun al-qadim. Do you know what al-urjun al-qadim? Al-urjun al-qadim, when you have a branch of palm tree and it's dried, there is like joints and then string, joints and string. احنا بنسميه في فلسطين الجنو. Women traditionally used to clean their house and sweep. So this is al-urjun, it's the khair. I have a friend, he's retired, he's a French, Francois Kersi. He is very much accustomed with Algeria, Morocco, and Lebanon, all the Francophone. He is a founder of the astronomical societies in these countries. He's maybe 80, I don't know if he's still alive, or 85 even. He said the Qataris invited me to have the first image of the new moon because they wanted to have a developed way of observing the moon for Ramadan. And then he said, I asked them, military jet fighters, that we flew up 70,000 feet. Usually our civilian aviation, our civil aviation, it flies 11, 12, 10,000 feet. So he goes for 75. And he said to me personally, for subhanallah, he was talking and I saw the Qur'an. He was talking about the mandur and I saw the mastur. He said, Sulayman, do you know what images we captured from these jet fighters in Qatar? I said, what? He said, the new moon is like curved, dashed line. It's not a teeny tiny curved line. I said, why? He said, because when the sun goes through the surface of the moon, there is mountains and ridges. So if the moon goes through, you see it. If it is blocked by there, you don't see it. So this is that Arjun al-Qadim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanallah. Even Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we don't have, there is no PhD in astronomy. They were not with Francois Quercy in France to show Al-Arjun al-Qadim that when the ray goes through these heights and ridges in the moon, what goes through, you see it as dots. So exactly, this is the Arjun al-Qadim. The second point that the Sheikh, the Imam raised is related to the tides. Because subhanallah, when the moon goes around the earth, it is not circular motion, it's ellipsoid. So it was far, the gravity is less, and it closes there. That's why making the sea is like a spring, Zumbarak. Yeah? When it is coming close and it pulls the sea, when it goes back, the sea goes back. So this is the tides. And also, when the moon is full, the moon on full in the solar month, it's the 14, 15, and 16 of the month. For the lunar is 13, 14, and 15. Al-Ayyam al-Bida, where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam asks you to fast. Why Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to fast? This is sunnah. But science say, when you fast, you don't fill your belly during the day, then you have more oxygen and blood goes to your mind. You will not affected by the magnetism and the waves and the signals that come from the moon when it is full. Because when the moon is full, the difference between the potential difference, the lit side and the dark side is almost 1,000 volt. And 1,000 volt, this makes a propagation to your brain and makes you don't understand. And if you sleep after Asr, then there is a pinal, doctors will know, here at the back of your brain, receive signals from the space. It goes to Al-Hafida to explain what they saw. So people say, for example, a bird talking or an animal sitting on a table, something, because the waves that comes from space, you don't have a corresponding image in your brain power. That's why Rasulullah said, don't sleep after Asr. Yeah? And the explanation, I have it in my research in 2006, and I'm still improving it, that the electric field, subhanallah, only goes to the dusk. Before the sun sets, the intensity of electric field is maximum. Then you have to be awake and making tasbih, because there is tasbih there.
وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل غروبها. We will stop for Salat, and after Salat, Professor will be here to take your questions. Individually, you can come to him, inshallah. Because we don't want to delay, inshallah. Let us pray. And when we, yeah, we will make another dua for his mother who died. I mean, subhanallah, look how he spoke. May Allah bless you. You just lost your mother. You have how many shaheeds in your family? Over 277. Hani allakum. And may Allah accept from you and bless your brother Sayyid and the family, the wife and children. They are here. May Allah bless them. We're very honored here at Sayyida Khadija Center to have them as active members in this masjid. Alhamdulillah, subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah alladhi khalaqa as-samawati بغير عمد وجعل جبالا رواسي شامخات وأسقانا ماء عذبا فراتا برحمته ولم يجعله ملحا أجاجا بذنوبنا. يا رب لك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت. يا رب ما عرفنا قدرك. يا رب إننا ظلمناك. يا رب إن ظلمناك في قدرك وحقك. اللهم لا تؤاخذنا بجهلنا يا أرحم الراحمين. عرفنا بقدرك وعرفنا يا رب بعملك إنك أنت القوي المتين. سبحانك سبحانك ربي، سبحانك سبحانك ما أعظم شأنك.